Hey guys, Jeff Ryan here. Sorry about ending the video a little bit short yesterday, or a lot of bit short. When my wife reminds me about our prior obligations, I wish she'd do it like in the morning or something, you know, instead of just a little bit before we have to take off. Anyways, where was I? I know I got to clean the bench up a little bit, get things all sorted out. We got so much to get to today. I'm very, very excited. And guys, how do you think that box came out? Just like, let me put it together. That's a good looking box now, isn't it? Firebird box, that's a good looking box. I've got no desire for the boxes. Yeah, the little insert here, the foam insert that'll go with it. But if anybody wants it, let me know, guys. I don't have another end cap or anything, but it came out real good. Remember the beginning of the first video? You couldn't even see through it. You know what? You couldn't even see through it. So much better in the box. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside and get my bench organized here. I'm excited about this project, making the front bumper for the ice cream truck there. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. I got my product from Aluminite. I told you that's where I get my products from. I got the mold maker, which is, again, the reason I got this one, it's a very short demolding time. I've had rubber mold makers, it's like 24 hours before you take the, get anything out of it. And it's a 1-to-1 ratio, which I really like. Reason being is I've had some, again, that have been like 1-to-10 ratio. That's not fun always doing the math or doing it by weight. That's really not always the fun way. And the Aluminite, the plastic here, it's white. And again, I believe it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So I'm excited about using those products. And what's interesting is, last time I said, hey, my viewers discovered that the flaps aren't there, the mud flaps aren't there. Well, I was excited about gluing the boom on there, but then since we're using the Aluminite and stuff, I just started thinking, maybe there's a way I can add those flaps back on. Right now, it's just a consideration. I got to figure out how to do it, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. No, I don't know, just a thought. Now, this ice cream truck, originally I bought it just for the shell, just for the body. I wanted it going around the inside here, like on the Magna Rail. We're talking about the Magna Rail a couple videos ago, and I think that an ice cream truck would be really cool, some bicycles following it on the Magna Rail. So I've got the bumper there. It looks like it just needs to be touched up. It doesn't look like it needs to be totally re-chromed, so I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it on there. I'm not going to take it off. I've got a ice cream truck that looks like it's been, when I got it, look how yellow it is. When I got it, the gentleman, he says, I don't know if it was in a smoker's house, but it's kind of yellowed. Yeah, well, it's got all the stickers and everything on it, but look at that. Look at the difference, you know what? Now, that bumper there, on the one on the left there, I can get that off. I had that re-chromed years ago, not with the Molotov. I'm talking like in the mid-90s or something like that. I had that, I sent it out, had it re-chromed. So I'm going to make a mold of that one. I know I can get it off the body. So just a sec. I tell you what, just a little bit of a quick pry with the screwdriver there, and it came out. It came out. And I tell you what, that's one reason I use the Scotch glue. I've said it for years. I use it because if you glue something in and have to ever get it apart, that's the stuff to use. So I got it off there, but here's my consideration. In remaking this, I'm considering probably stripping it. I mean, just getting all the chrome off and getting it down to the original plastic, making sure it's really clean before you make a mold of it. You don't want it. You see where that piece of chrome is missing there? Well, if we made a mold of it, that would probably show up in the detail. You know what? That'd probably show up in detail. So the first thing we got to do is make sure that this is stripped down. I've got some Easy Off oven cleaner is what I'm going to do. And we're just going to soak it and get all the chrome off, and then we're going to start the molding process. Very good. I got the bumper down there at the bottom of the cup. I got the Easy Off. That's the kind I use. I know they have like a extra strength, extra heavy duty or something like that. This is the one I use, the one in the yellow can there. So I'm just going to cover it and then just let the Easy Off do its work. After it's done, if there's anything left on there, we might have to hit it again with the Easy Off, but we'll see. Completely covered, and guys, if you have to go out and come back in, fine. Don't breathe this stuff in, and when you spray it, the spray just goes everywhere. So do your best not to breathe this stuff in. All right, I'm just gonna let it set and see how it does. Okay, just getting back to it. I know it's been in there well long enough, so I'm gonna take it to the sink and rinse it off. Just got it rinsed off. What do you think? Not too bad. I still see a little bit of the chrome down there on the bumper, and I see some around the lights here. But overall, real good, you know what? Real good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it back in the cup, go ahead and soak it again just for a little bit with the Easy Off, and that should get off any of the last remaining little bits of chrome there. Okay, it's down at the bottom of the cup again. It is covered in the Easy Off. So once again, just wait a few minutes. You don't have to wait long. You don't have to wait long. And then again, I'm going to rinse it off, and I'll see if I can get all the residuals off with the toothbrush there. But it's just a sit and wait game right now. All right, just rinse the second dipping of the Easy Off, and it's as clean as it's going to get. Up here, right there, I can still see a little bit of residual glue that I had on there. I'm going to get that off, make sure that's sanded real good, and then we will be creating a mold box, and we'll be putting this in the bottom of the mold box. And there's a couple of things that you really have to pay attention to, and I'll talk you through them. Got the top of that sanded down, so when we make the mold of it, it'll fit into the ice cream truck really nice. I use styrene for my mold boxes. I've seen mold boxes made out of cardboard. I've seen them made out of Tupperware. If I were to go into the house and start snatching some Tupperware, my wife would be questioning me. So that's why I use a styrene. I think it's made by Evergreen. Evergreen, that's who makes this. And I like it because it's like little 1/2-inch squares. You can break it to where you want, and you just glue it together the size box that you want. So that's what I use. I'm going to glue it all up, and we're going to have a mold box in just a minute. Got the mold box glued together, and that's going to be plenty tall enough, plenty wide enough, and all that stuff. I just set it down a second ago, so I'm going to let the glue dry. One word of caution, you can see how I lined the inside of the seams there with glue. I really just splooged it in there. You don't want any leakage. If you're using Tupperware, there's not going to be any leakage. So if you're using something like the styrene here, really go over the joints, the seams, and make sure everything's real glue. So I've got to let that dry a little bit. Then we'll go ahead and start addressing how to duplicate the bumper there. Tell you what, usually in between takes, I'm having a good time, just kind of goofing around. The way the Firebird turned out, I am pleased as punch. I am just absolutely pleased as punch. That thing came out so darn good. You know what? I love it. I truly love it. So the mold box, I just touched the glue on the side of the seams. I did probably another 4 or 5 minutes and it'll be completely dry. But for right now, I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to get started on making, why do I have clay out? You gotta make an inside mold and an outside mold, so to speak, a top mold and a bottom mold. And when you do 2-part molds like that, the first mold that you make, you're gonna have to set it up in some clay, and I'm gonna show you why. Just a sec. Just real quick, I wanted to read the instructions of the mold maker kit. I basically know what to do, but this is a little bit different than what I was using before. It had a longer work time. So again, it's 1-to-1 volume, 6 to 8 minute as far as a work time. Demold 30 minutes. I love that. I love that. Fully cure 24 hours. I know that, and I'm not gonna do this. I know if it's warmer, like, you know, put a hair dryer on it, it's gonna cure quicker. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. And just like they show there, you see how they're pouring very, very slowly into the mold box? You start with one corner, you pour really slow, and you just allow it to gradually cover the piece that you're making. We're gonna do the same thing with the bumper here in just a sec. In the mold maker kit, here's everything that's there. They give you a couple of the wooden popsicle sticks, 3 of the cups, and they give you part A, part B, equal amount there. I read the instructions on the part A, part B. They say the same thing. Use equal amounts, mix them together, 6 to 8 minutes work time. You better be pouring. After about 30 minutes, you can demold it and you're ready to go. Now there is a caution. Okay, after you demold it, that's just gonna be the first part of our mold. We have to make a second part of the mold, and you have to use mold release. If you do not use mold release on a 2-part mold, it's going to become one piece of rubber. So we'll get to that. The next thing we gotta do is get that bumper ready for the mold box. Okay, here's how the clay comes into play. Let's say we're trying to make a mold of the Lola here. We'd have to make an inside and an outside mold to do that. So the clay would literally fill up the entire space of the inside of the Lola, and we'd make sure that the windows were, where they should be, and everything was there, and then we would pour the liquid over it. Point being is we have to do the same thing with this bumper. We got to do the same thing with this bumper. So half the bumper is going to be stuck in the clay, then we're going to be putting it in the mold box, and we're going to be pouring our rubber over it. So let me go ahead and, I'm not going to use all this clay, let me go ahead and cut it down and get some clay, and I'll get started on it. Got a wad of clay, got it flattened out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push this down into the clay there until the bottom of it hits the top of the clay there, and I already know it's going to fit in the mold box, so we should be good. So I'm just going to press it down in the clay, then when we get it into the mold box, that'll be next. As you can see, I got the bumper pushed down into the clay real good. I got it set down in the mold box where I want it. Now it's time to mix the rubber up, and then we're going to pour it right over this. Again, not just right over it, you start in one corner and you just drizzle it. You just drizzle it in. Was just looking at the cups there. I'm gonna use probably about 20 milliliters on each one, and then I'm gonna put it in this little Dixie cup here, and I've got a pipette to stir. I know that they gave us the popsicle sticks, but I like the pipette one because it helps me get the edges better. See how round it is? And even the instructions said, scrape the sides, scrape the sides. Well, with something round and compared to something flat, it's easier for me to do it that way. So again, I didn't see any, one caution, because it's getting ready to, but I don't think I should. You don't shake the stuff. I don't want to put any air bubbles in it. I was just thinking, does it need to be shaken? Nowhere in the instructions that I find does it say shake the stuff. So let me go ahead and measure it out to put it in the cup there. I got the equal amounts here, part A, part B. Part B. I'm going to put it in the cup. We'll mix it like I've been saying. Now, I don't need to, I know this is going to be more than enough, but I don't need to fill it all the way to the top of the mold box. I'm probably going to only fill it up there to that top line. That's where I'm going to fill it up to. So reason being is when we make the second part of the mold, we turn everything over, and then I'll just fill in what the rest of it there. You'll see how it works out. But again, you don't want to use or fill the entire box up. That's what you do not want to do. And I'm going to mix it here. And again, just drizzle it from a corner and let it just gently find its own level till it gets you to the height that where you want it. I just poured it in the cup. I feel like I got to act quick there. It just kind of separated on both sides. Let me get to stirring. I've been stirring for about probably about 40 seconds here. I notice there's a couple air bubbles coming up. I'm trying not to create those, so guys, just stir slow. After another few seconds, I'll be pouring it into the mold there. Boy, it's thick. It is thick. Let's just see if we can get just a tiny little stream going in there and just pour as slow as it's going to go. Again, there's no rush, there's no hurry with this part. And quite frankly, you see how thin that stream gets? If there's like a bubble in there, often it'll get it out. Every time, can't say so, but often we'll get it out. Here we go. Again, guys, do not go fast with this part. Do not, do not, do not. Just let it seek its own level. It'll find its way around there. Yeah, it's creeping around there, isn't it? And again, I'm just holding it in one place. I'm not dumping it over there. I'm just letting it creep into all the little crevices, and that's what it's going to do to the face of that bumper. It's just going to slowly creep over it, seep down in there, and it's going to get all the little details. All the little details. Yeah. We're doing good. All right, my hand is getting tired. Just a sec. Not happening to level. I think I need to add a little bit more while everything's wet. I'm going to add just a little bit more there, and I'll be more happy with that. It did cover it completely, but I think it's just a little bit too thin, so to speak. So I'm going to add some more to it where everything's wet. Okay, good. I feel better about that. That's where I want it. So there's going to be a good base on the mold, so to speak. You know, you can have the mold too thin, that type of thing. That's what I don't want to do. I've got plenty of product left, so I'm not going to sweat that. So they say 30 minutes, so I'm going to set the timer now, guys. Okay, it's been pardon me, a little bit over a half hour. I've touched a little bit, tried to pull some of it away from the side of the mold there. It feels like it's really good. So let me go ahead and get the mold out of the mold box. Got the mold out of the mold box, and that's on each side of it. Now I've got to go ahead and get the clay and the front bumper out of there. So front bumper, it's the only bumper on the ice cream truck. All right, this is the inside of the mold. I got the front bumper out, and it's that is actually the outside of the front bumper, but it's the inside of the mold. Now, a lot of times when you're going to pour another or the second half of the mold on this, what I've seen a lot of guys do this, it's a smart technique. They'll put like a dowel here and glue it on, so when they pour the second part of the mold, they'll have that dowel there as a ridge to where it holds both the molds in place. But you see how deep this is? That's going to be fine. I really don't need to do that. I've seen that technique. I admire that technique. I don't know I'm going to need to do that because this mold is so deep, and when we put the two halves together, we should be fine. We should be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this back into the mold box, put the bumper in it, and then we should be all set to put the second, or make the second part of the mold. Now, once that's in there, or I'm sorry, even before it's in there, I'm going to spray that bugger with some mold release. If you do not spray this, and I'm saying this at the beginning of the video, if you don't spray it with some mold release, you're going to create one piece of rubber by pouring the other one onto the second one like that. So, and a caution with the mold release, it's a light spray, guys. It's a light spray. You don't spray it back and forth like spray paint. No. It's just like, psst, done. That's it. You don't need very much. Got it lightly sprayed with mold release. I got the bumper down in there. It's time to mix the second part of the mold. We'll get both halves mixed up and put them in the cup. Okay, I've got everything out that I'm going to need for the second part of the mold there. Again, one part to one part, mix in the big cup, and then pour. What I've done here is I've added a couple of toothpicks to the bumper to act as exit holes, because when you put the Illuminite in there and it's liquid, if you put too much in, and it's easy to do, everybody does, well, you need a couple of holes for it to get out, so to speak. Got my equal parts of A, equal parts of B, got my mixing cup, guys. I am all set. I'm all set. Here we go. I got both parts mixed up real good. I'm getting ready to pour. Everything looks good right now. Again, I'm going to start right there in the corner and just let it drizzle down, drizzle down, drizzle down. You don't do it fast, you don't do it quick. Got done using the mold maker, so I put the package away, and it's just hurry up and wait right now. It came to right where I wanted it to do. You know, I didn't want it to overflow, and I didn't want to have not enough. It's just like perfect right now. So 30 minutes from now, we get to demold. I know it's been well long enough. It's got to be dried by now. Yeah, no question about it. That's good. All right, let me get that mold box off the mold, and then we're gonna have to get the mold apart. Got the molds out of the mold box, and you literally just have to like kind of pull it separate, yeah, like that. If you got the mold release on there real good, it should come apart. So let me go ahead and use both hands, and we'll get the bumper out. All right, good. There's what both halves of the mold look like. We have inside and outside, and they fit real good, and we got the bumper out there. So next is using the Illuminite product that makes the plastic. It's got a, again, 1-to-1 ratio, and we don't need very much. We don't need very much to make one of these, so I'm excited to use this. All right, let's go ahead and get that whipped up next. Very good. I got equal amounts of part A, part B, and I've got a cup I'm going to mix them in. And I know it's going to be much more than enough, but that's okay. That's okay. We got plenty over there. I'm going to pour some by hand down there. Then when I put the top onto the lid on, I'm actually going to take the pipette, get some of the mixture up in here, and then splooge it down into the holes there just to make sure that there, hopefully there'll be no air bubbles. Gonna give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Got plenty left over, got plenty in there. I did just what I was telling you. I got the pipette and splooged some in there. Hopefully there won't be any bubbles. That's the whole thing. When you pour like this, a lot of times you'll get bubbles. That's why injection molding is so much better. It's absolutely so much better. And one interesting thing here, because it's like a chemical reaction starting to harden already in the cup there, it's getting warm. Not hot, but it's getting warm. You can tell something's happening. All right, it says 10-minute demold time. So again, clock is on. Just how I left it a bit ago, but everything is white. And boy, that's hard. Not gonna be able to use anything in there anymore. Okay, so let me go ahead and get the bumper out of the mold, see how we did. Got the mold out of the bumper there, guys, and doesn't look too bad. I know I gotta get the flashing off. Boy, I think I picked it up funky. But it doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. That's it right there. I'm trying to get it in focus here. Hopefully it's coming through. Okay, let me go ahead and set this down. Pretty easy to make the mold there. Pretty easy to make the mold. And with this quick set stuff here that Illuminite's selling, absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I'm not going to paint this up. I'm not going to get the flashing off today. I'm going to do a whole nother video of getting things chromed out. But as far as getting reproduction bumper, or driver, something like that, that's how you do it, guys. That's how you do it. All right, right now I'm going to call it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you need anything. And did you see I slid the Firebird into the collection? Slid it in there. All right, guys, have fun. See ya.